Didn't expect Punk to be topping out here, but it's been doing very, very well. We have Gemnights from the regional season, and even Lunalight as well. Make sure you guys smash the loot and crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So this list popped up over the weekend, and I was actually asked by a couple people, "Hey, did you see the list?" Yeah, I did see the list, and I will tell you, this is actually quite interesting because one, nobody's really batted an eye at the Punk stuff recently. I think most people just kind of forgot Punk cards got their support. You know, they got scraped underneath, the rug with all of the, Orca stuff, and then just kind of got tossed into the bin and forgotten about. But with the canine cards, on the other hand, we actually get the ability to kind of do some interesting stuff. Now, I'd also like to give a shout out here to Mr. Fiendsmith Engraver. No matter where you look around, no matter where you turn, you're gonna see his face, because he's always gonna be here looking to make a deck a little bit better. And this is another case example here of, oh, hey, this deck puts multiple bodies on the field. So being able to pivot into full Fiendsmith combo is not a problem whatsoever. I think it's one of the more unique things that we've got going on with this deck is, you have access to go down all this, the big play lines with all the Punk stuff, getting you into your sub-draw package, which, by the way, we're not even playing Dangerous Gabu in this list. We don't even need to worry about it. We're just going to kind of dig for some extra options through this, kind of use the canine package to kind of set us up, which, crazy enough, for this canine package, I mean, you're just basically extending and making Ripper, or you're going to be using, this stuff as like synchro fodder to kind of climb up into some different pieces, which I guess is a unique concept. I also see we are side decking Chalice. Chalice has been gaining a little bit of popularity. I actually quite enjoy how strong this card feels like it can be sometimes. So definitely interesting choices for this list. Next up here, we have the State of Gemnight Blow Your Opponent Out of the Water, aka the Buster of Dreams. Now, the reason why we're looking at this is for the small amount of list that do get out with this. This deck is very much a deck that can grind through your local competition. Actually, I have two Gemnight players up here that do fantastic with this deck. Their job is to draw, board breakers. If you choose to play into a Malt Army, the only thing that they're going to do is find board breakers here to try to clear you up. And then the other really cool thing here is access to Salesman. No matter what problem or what card you might be setting up while going first, Salesman is going to give them the opportunity to snap apart your board, and you're going to have to deal with a lot of the problems that are going to come with that. Also, one of the funny things that this list gets access to is they actually, too, can make Paradise Smasher depending on the situation. Now, is that an incredibly healthy thing? No. No, a deck like Gemnights should not be having access to making Paradise Smasher out here, because it feels really, really weird. But the flip side of that idea, though, just means one more step closer to getting this card banned. I also see, because we are main decking Thrust, we can actually bring in the Threatening Roar. That's actually hilarious that we actually have access to this. We also do see the Black Goat Laughs. This has been kind of like the standard side card these days. You just bring this in, crack apart whatever your opponent's trying to do, and, that's something that this deck needs to do. All you got to do is just let your opponent do the job, slam down board breaker here, and then attempt to win the game. Congratulations. You have successfully learned how to play Gemnights, and I'm not going to say this deck is brain dead, but God, man, it is unfun to play against. We have Lunalights. Man, this seems to really be the decks that I don't want to play against special here. Now, one of the hilarious things I see down here is we are on triple Liger Dancer. Now, I can perfectly understand this, because we have seen that some certain decks might have the ability to go peeking into the extra deck and might start messing around with some of the cards that are in the extra deck. So we want to be able to have access to the Liger Dancer. Now, there's also the really weird scenario where you could actually make the third Liger Dancer. I feel like the minute that the second Liger Dancer usually touches down, it's a nail coffin for the opponent, but that is an interesting takeaway here. We're also main decking the triple heavy poly. I think very much having the heavy poly to be able to resolve to shatter the opponent's expectations usually works out very, very nicely. This card definitely is one of the more overpowered good cards we have access to. We're also going with 2 Lunalight Fusion in here. I also do not hate this at all either. I think most builds have been trying to play 1. I don't know why, because I think this card's optimally fine at 2, but it's interesting. Once again, you're in the exploration phase of seeing why people are playing the ratios. Going with the 2 Yellow Martin is good. The 1/1 split here. You also do see 1 Fractal. There was some discussion about trying maximized Fractal, trying 2 to 3 of it. I don't really think that's a good case. I think when you're playing this deck, you need it to be as streamlined as possible. When you start getting into like the super nitty gritty fat is where you're going to start running into a lot of the problems, and you can't really do that. But I definitely will say this deck feels more optimized than it has in a while. Next up, we have some Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now this is the good stuff. Finally, I have a list playing Dippity, and I love this, man. So Dippity gets to act as a level 1 for this deck. Now, I would much rather have, the Spellcaster, but this works out fine because we get to do a full Fiendsmith combo with this. That's right. 1 Roar turns into a Dippity, which allows you to do full Fiendsmith combo, which then basically allows you to kind of pivot into, Blue Eyes combo for your normal summon off of that, unless you have to commit a barrel as your normal summon to get in to the Loadly Load, which then, you're going to have to pivot ideas and decide where you're going to go from there. I do see we are side decking the Majesty of the White Dragons. This card, I understand why. You're putting more of an emphasis on the Fiendsmith package here. I'd rather have access to this than not for all. I also see that we're side decking the Primite Scream as well. That's kind of cute. Okay. In terms of everything else, you just gutted out a lot of the fat to basically optimize and be able to play the Fiendsmith package. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing at all. You need this deck to be as streamlined and as forward as you can get it. Usually works out very well. I also see, I'm going with the triple Raigeki in here as well. Hey man, you get the Raigeki, you're good to go. I also see, we're also side decking the Judgments. We also have the DD Ground in here. It's interesting that they are playing the DD Ground because there's not a single thrust anywhere to be seen in this list. So it's just going to be one of those situations that, if you do actually see it, well, it actually helps you out and does exactly what you need it to do. And of course, we have some Malice for you. Now, the reason why I'm looking at Malice here, ever since Worlds, Malice has been looked at as this idea that goes, maybe you need to play the Hornet drones in the deck. Maybe having the token really just gives you a comeback, and it also means that, the big Unga Bunga rock in the sky doesn't actually just destroy your day. That's actually innovation at its finest. You took a shitty situation this deck faced and you've managed to overcome it. Also means that you get to see Engage turning into something a little bit better for this deck now too as well. We don't talk enough about how good Engage actually is. To be fair, it's been flooded by Yummy at this point. Yummy's been the one abusing it the most. But to see that, this has become the new standard build is quite nice. Also, this build's going with 1 backup, 1 wizard. I do like the idea of 2 backups. It feels a little bit better to me. Also do see we're going with 2 of the traps. RIP to the 3rd trap. It never sees play anymore. See, we are side decking the DD Ground because of actually having access to the thrust. You do see we have the Book of Eclipses, and we do have the extra backup down here in case we actually do need it. So it really just depends on the situation you find yourself in. Also, I like that we are playing the Link Disciple down here. Very, very good stuff. Also, we are side decking Monster Reborn. That's freaking hilarious. That just proves that, you can really do anything in this format and get away with it. That is quite wonderful. But what do you guys think about all of this cool stuff? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.